I'm already at it. All right. Most High in Christ. If you could pass my phone, Baba Kashem. For water. Let me go live over here. If you need to go ahead, do it. We're gonna wait for Kat to get down. All right, let's clap it up. Yahweh Shem Yashah Brakathum to all the I give me how Shema Thum Bashem Yashah to all the sisters. This is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the commanding General Yahanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible. And the truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews, and that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. We are not affiliated with any other Christian church or Hebrew Israelite group. 1 West is home of the truth. If you're not supporting, you're not important. Right. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? Yo, we just had a glorious week, damn near a whole week in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's give it up to Commanding General Yahanna and and Captain Niathak and all the generals and all the captains and all the officers that made that event happen, that pulled off that event gloriously and flawlessly. If you wasn't there, you missed out on something special. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
I even saw two brothers that paid attention to class, and we had said before, you know, come on down to the Passover, and when you do, you know, say come holler at me, and they did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, Most High Christ, you made it.
I had that experience as well. The water to all the Akim and Aquathim that are getting themselves together, that are shedding themselves from the world, watching the class online and actually obeying the order. Because it's not our order, it's the order from the Most High. The Most High told us to get our butts down to the Passover so that we remember how the way the Most High got us about a captivity. You know what I'm saying? And this is very special. I mean, all the Passover is very special, you know what I'm saying? But this was very special because I didn't even notice until we got down there that these heathens tried to have the venue canceled on us. Now they tried that again. They tried that before in Texas. I don't know if you remember that. It was a fake Israelite group that pretended to be us and tried to cancel our venue on us. But the brother that we was dealing with called up the person he was in contact with and said, "Hold up, this doesn't sound right. Did you want to cancel it?" He was like, No. That's not the way. That's not the way it goes. That's not how the way we do business. You know what I'm saying? You have some?
And they actually, the first time they did it, you know, that's when he got in contact with
Yatzazak.
I mean, Yatzazak. And then they called the second time, and being as he had him on the phone, he called Cap Yadi and had him on the phone while he was talking to the dude. And then he was like, "This is Captain, Yahanna out of I.S.U.P.K. Who is this?"
We knew who it was. Right. You know what I'm saying? We knew who it was. But they were trying to cancel the Lord's Passover. They were trying to go behind UPK's back and cancel the Lord's Passover. Just like these Edomites was trying to do this time. But little did they know that this was written in stone thousands of years ago. This is ordained by the Most High God. The Most High God said for us to have the Passover. And this year we were observing it in Raleigh, North Carolina. Right. These devils try to have it canceled on us. Even tried to go about or threatened, I would say. They threatened to protest. Right. You know, have rally and protests around the convention center that we was having it at. But that did not happen. You know what I'm saying? The rain fell and they was like, you know what? Let them go on and have do it, whatever it is that they wanted to do. And you know what? We did whatever it is what we wanted to do. Right. And we ate glorious lamb. We had glorious unleavened bread. We had glorious wine. We had glorious companionship with our Akim and Agwathim that we hadn't seen in months since, possibly, the previous cookouts, or maybe even the previous Passover. You know what I'm saying? We had brothers come all the way over from across the pond, the UK. We had brothers come from the Caribbean islands, had brothers come from Central and South America. We had brothers come all the way from Canada. You know what I'm saying? We have, this truth is spreading just like the way the Most High said it was going to spread. And just like, the way we did it in those days when we had our kingdom, where we actually had to have a pilgrimage to travel out and go to Jerusalem. If we was living in Athens or Thessalonica, or if we was living in Corinth, we'd have to leave those places and go to Jerusalem. And shout out to all those the brothers and sisters that came from all these places that had to spend hours in a metal tube to get to the Passover. You know what I'm saying? You know how you do. I don't understand. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to plan and coordinate. Not just just going by yourself, but to plan and coordinate getting a bunch of Akim, a bunch of brothers and sisters with their children, with their families, to come to the Lord's Passover. And this is not an overnight last minute decision or last minute thing. Brothers have to plan this out a whole year in advance. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we are in captivity. There are some, brothers and sisters who can, just make things happen right then and there. But most of the nation, most of us, we're gonna have to script and save and come together, truly come together. And that is right there. That is the spirit of the Passover. Why? Because he even says in the scripture, we're supposed to, slaughter a lamb and cook it in bitter herbs. And if you didn't have enough, you're supposed to get together with your neighbors. Get to come together with your neighbors and slaughter that lamb and eat that lamb with your neighbors. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why we get in that spirit of coming together to get up out of captivity. If we can't follow a simple order, now it's easy. It's easy if you live on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? It's even somewhat easier if you live in somewhere in the Midwest. But if you're living across the pond and you have to, make flights and reservations, that's a tough task. And with that, I'll pass the class to Captain Mashak Mayam.
You was able to get rocket?
I don't count, sir.
Oh,
I don't count.
so lucky, brother.
No sweat. It's like the question was, because we couldn't put two cameras on over here, so we put it up over here. But how do we get it over to Jamaica?
When they get here,
Count on count, sir.
whenever Jamaica gets here, that's fine.
Count on count, sir.
So lucky.
It was up here.
To water to do me a favor. You could lower the AC. You could lower it to. Is it only cool?
It's on count on count. It's on 68.
I hit this fan here. It might just be a little bit warmer in here for a second. Anyway, this could face the outside.
A lot, sir, because the holder.
The holder blocks the camera.
I got you, sir. Select.
What, 2 clicks up?
That's fine. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, count, sir.
If it's a way to do it where
I have to shut it down.
no sweat, just shut it down and start it again. So what happened? The holder blocks the camera or something?
Count, sir.
So it can't go sideways, the holder?
No, because it's too small. No, lock, sir.
Okay. So you'll put it on the back camera. And somebody would just have to monitor the what do you call that thing? Monitor the chat from there, right?
Count on God, sir.
Okay, no sweat. All right. All right, fresh back from rally. I don't know if the Lord is willing to let a tornado pass through there, but rally need to be taught a lesson. It's a lot. Need to be taught a lesson of Egypt. So, like, brother, you mind hitting that light over there that we turn on every class? If you don't mind. You see it? You see what I'm talking about? All right. Just always make sure they're on. All right. Is that one? Do we ever turn on that one? Nah, right? Yeah, just these right here. So, you know what I mean? Did he pass over a hand? It was absolutely excellent. Absolutely outstanding event. Is this thing to have, you know? Okay, no sweat. What about the other thing? What's something else we'd be running here? Yeah, right here. Okay, no sweat. All right. Now, so what we have? Any questions online so far?
There's a brother online that said, did Trump make bail yet?
I mean, he might make bail or he might make jail. But either way, it doesn't matter. According to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it does not matter because you, black man, you, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, woman, and child, you have more things to worry about than whether Trump goes to jail or makes bail. You have more things to worry about than America's Department of Justice. No, this is what I want, though. There's a kind of strange fruit on that counter. All right, it's a strange fruit that I haven't had since I was, a long time. All right, it should be on the counter, though. On the counter in there. All right, you could just put it in the that big glass mug or something. Not that. When it's a can, actual can. I'm saying what it is. God damn. Let me know if I had to come get it for myself or not. I got it, sir. I appreciate that. And that mug, and I'll take a paper towel. You'll bear with me one. Right? So there's a lot more to worry about than Trump. Yes, of course, they're going to try to put him in jail. Why? Because the Democrats done did a horrible job. They make so much promises in a time when people are absolutely desperate. People right now are absolutely desperate, not just in America, but all over the world. There's a unanimous state of desperation going on right now. And the Democrats done played themselves into a corner thinking that they could use the regular, the Republicans hate you, the race baiting, blah, 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 which what they're saying is true. But you're going to have to deliver something on top of that, right? On top of those things that you're saying, you're going to still have to deliver something. You can put all your phones on vibrate, all right? You're still going to have to deliver something. Tawada too. I'd like to crack it open myself, though. But Tawada for being extremely helpful. Tawada too, brother. No, I had to get the KGB to come and check this here because Bakwash opened a drink before me. It's a lie. I'm joking. Bakwash, that's not funny to Bakwash. Bakwash, I'm joking. Bakwash is like, what you trying to say over there? That's too wild. I had to have it. I saw it in the store. I was like, holy S-word. All right. So they done played themselves into a corner with getting into office, right? They had Kamala Harris, what she was doing this thing, trying to placate our demographic, trying to act like she was black, this, that, the other. And then you had Biden riding the black coattail hard as hell and not doing anything that he promised to do to the black demographic, in addition to being soft on certain, traditional democratic conflicts then, right? He definitely came up against Roe v. Wade, which was a fight that Trump put in place, and it continued after Trump's tenure. But Biden came up against it not because he believes in your right to choose, woman, but because he knows that by doing that, he can buy your vote like a man buys a prostitute. You know, he could buy your vote by allowing you to do the evil, sinful, lustful things that your heart desires for you to do in exchange for 4 more years. So that's why he came up against it. Not because he was absolutely enamored and he felt passionate about it, but he came up against it because he understands that if he allows you to just live a life full of pleasure, which is what most people are used to. Most people are used to a life that's filled with pleasure. You get the point? And no problem, free of any sort of fight, free of conflict, free of pain. All right, Mary J. Blige should sing a song, no more pain. Everybody don't want no pain. And okay, it's really you're living in Oz. You're really living in Oz. And it comes because the life we live today is such a, coddled like a baby, like you're being held like a baby. You go to the store for your meat. You go to the store for juice. You don't put anything in the ground and watch it grow and tend to it and guard it from plagues and pestilence and floods and people who want to come and eat your fruit. You don't have to do that. You don't have to watch the supermarket at night. You don't have to, make sure the cows is fed a certain way and have enough space to walk around so they grow the right way. You don't have to do none of that. All you have to do is obey the oppressor, your master, and you get to eat as much as you want, drink as much as you want, have sex as much as you want. Just do it till you're satisfied. We live a very, very cuddled, soft life. A very cuddled, soft life. And because of that, any adversity that we seem to come across in life, we are immediately halted by it. When really that's what life really is. Well, thanks be to the Most High Power and our King Yahushua. The world is about to get a taste of what life is really is. You know who understands life? Ukraine. You see Zelensky, and then people in Kiev, they understand life. Then people in Turkey who suffered that earthquake, and now they have to fend. There ain't no shoppers around. There's no giant. There's no whatever else that makes life easy. There's none of that around. Now is you have to get brotherhood, you have to get laws, you have to get a code, you have to be able to function in scarcity of resources when people are hungry. And that's what life really is, not this thing you living. Go ahead.
So, and the Afghanis who didn't get on that plane.
Oh, the Afghanis who didn't get on the plane, brother, they experienced life. Go ahead.
Look, in 2010, I was in the world, but got a shock myself.
Mm-hmm.
They showed that tsunami hit like some island, and they showed it on TV at 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them watching people hopping out their cars, trying to run from the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally swallowed all of them.
Yep. And after that thing done subside, what you're left with is living, where you're gonna have to find food, find your shelter. You have to move a certain way. You have to talk a certain way, because now who are you gonna call? 911. The phones got washed away in the tsunami. The phones is buried under the rubble. You understand? Like, we live in a certain comfort now where you just whatever, and you just call 911. The police show up and they just help you out. You use them. You put 911 is now weaponized. When life is really, you're gonna have to build relationships with people. You're gonna have to be able to have a disagreement and still be cordial, because this man sells you meat. This man he has the corn farm or the maize, which is rice. He has the flour. He has these horses that you're gonna need that could pull the logs out of the forest to build the extra cabin you need because you thought you had one baby, but your wife pregnant with twins. You're gonna need to build an extra extension. Like the life, it depends on interpersonal relationships. You get the point? It depends a whole lot on that. And because we live under this oppressor, we don't have that no more. What we have is, I got money, I got credit cards. I don't need you for nothing. It's popular now with the podcast era we're in, where you have I don't need a man for this. I don't need a man for that. I could do this myself. I could do that myself. I don't need no woman. And it continues on and on and on. And you about to get a rude awakening right now, because China done made the chess move of chess moves, which we're gonna go into tonight. China done, put the whole world into a figure four, or about to. They ain't put them in there yet, but they're about to. China standing on top of the ropes, and you knocked out in the middle of the ring, and China getting ready to dive on top of you and hold your leg up, and the referee gonna go. It's over. That's what's getting ready to happen to this place. While you worried about some millionaire or billionaire, if he gonna go to jail or not, who cares? Who the hell cares? And listen, Trump ain't going to jail for leading a riot, an insurrection on January 6th. He going to jail for, the same thing. For whores. He's going to jail for whores, brother. He's going to jail for having sex with a prostitute and then paying the prostitute to keep her mouth shut. That's basically what they're charging him with, right? Is his charges January 6th? Is it the insurrection? Is it, destruction of property? Is it leading a coup d'etat, accomplice to murder because of how they unalive them 3 cops? That he ain't getting charged for that. He getting charged for the same thing Bill Clinton got charged for. Inappropriate sexual activity. Like, it can be wild in office, but you get the point. Like, you worried about the wrong thing, man. You worried about the wrong thing. Rome gonna do what Rome gonna do. The Romans are going to do what the Romans are going to do, right? They're going to get angry and they're going to destroy the place. Don't stop him. Let them do it. Let them do it. This is your chance now to tell them devils, why are you burning down your own places? What's wrong with you? This is your government. This is your building. Why are you rioting? This is not the way, people. This is your chance. You're trying to stop them and saying they better not do this because, those oppressors are going to be angry. Let them be angry. It's good for their heart. It's good for their soul and their mind. Let them be angry. In the meantime, you worry where you're going to get bread from. Because, if Xi Jinping make one move, if he go, rook 18 to L7 one more time, you're not getting bread. You're not getting juice. You're not getting water. The shelf's going to be empty with a P. Empty. It's going to be empty. Go ahead.
Sorry, if I could. That's unleavened for the next few days.
That's unleavened for the next few days. But, brother, I guarantee you after that, if Xi Jinping did it, the people going to eat leavened sand. They're going to eat leavened anything. It doesn't matter. Leavened or unleavened, the shelves is going to be absolutely raw. It's going to be raw. There's going to be nothing there. And in that day, you're going to realize just how much of a slave this oppressor done made us as a people. Where we can't deal for ourselves. We can't fend for ourselves. We can't defend ourselves. We can't feed ourselves, clothe ourselves. Without him, which is half the reason why you in the world refuse to join the Israelite school of UPK under command of General Yahanna. Because you can't imagine life without your daddy, which is the so-called white man, the Edomite, the Esau according to the Bible. All right. So, what we got? Any questions?
Counsel, there was a question, but the question was, what about the clashes between Israeli and the Palestinians?
What about them? You're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that with your question, all right? Whoever asks the question is a brother or sister in the school or
Snipes Williams.
Snipes Williams. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that. Like, what about the clashes between the Palestinians and the Israelis? What about the lion and the gazelle? Like, you got to be a little bit more specific than that one, all right? Just so I could get the point of what you're asking. Go ahead.
They've been clashing for like the last 70 years.
I mean, who cares? Who cares? I'm not getting his full point. All right, I'm not getting his full point. So tonight we're gonna go into a little bit of the present state of the world economy. What could happen? What more than likely is going to be the move? And of course, you're gonna get a little bit about the Easter and the Passover, right? Which we just celebrated like no other. Most outstanding, absolutely glorious, so righteous, so honorable. Big up Commander Yahanna again for teaching us how to love a father, a man that did what you can't do as sons. You know what I mean? And Chief Head Priest Arya, he deserved that honor that Commander Yahanna gave him, and it was absolutely righteous. It was absolutely righteous, and it's a son honoring a father. That's what it is. It's a son honoring a father. You know what I mean? Donald Trump's son ain't saying a goddamn word about him, and Trump is an absolute vile man, and he's the devil. You're supposed to be the sons of Jacob, and the scriptures say, hold on, give me real quick. Let's start with that. Then we're gonna go into the Easter. Then I'm gonna get to I.S.U.P.K on the bricks, building a house with bricks. Right? Give me James. Hold up. Yeah.
Did you say sons of man a minute ago?
No. Say sons of the oppressor. Slacky, give me Jude 1 and 9. The book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 9. You can start at 8. All right, real quick, please. Let's go. You have it? Jude, just before Revelation, I believe. 1 or 2 books before Revelation.
Book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Michael, the archangel.
Start at 8.
Come on, sir. Book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 8. Likewise, also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignity.
That's what the Bible says you are. You are filthy dreamers. You despise dominion and you speak evil of dignities, man. You should watch your mouth. This pedigree is absolutely solid and comes from the Lord. You should watch your mouth because you can't do half the things that the men before you did. And if it wasn't for them, you would have nothing to corrupt and pollute. You would still be a Christian in the church. You're damn near a Christian now. Only thing separates you is a few braids in your hair and some inches of beard on your damn chin. But you're damn near a Christian now. But if it wasn't for the men before you, you wouldn't have nothing to mess up because that's what you're really doing. Effing up the work of the Lord. You're really doing that. You're muddying the work of the Lord and bringing no honor to the house of the Lord at all. None. And all kind of doctrines and all kind of, new teachings and trying to convince yourself you're doing the work of the Lord, but really you despise dominion. You despise being ruled. You despise being told what to do. You despise being told when to go and where to go and how to go and who to go with. You despise it. You despise it. You could put it on the table over here, bro. Right? You could share it out too with the men, all right? You despise dominion. All right? Keep reading now. Read it again.
It's Jude chapter 1, verse 9. Yet Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses.
No, verse 8, brother, please.
Verse 8. Likewise, these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion.
You defile the flesh. You defile the flesh because you're not following the words of the Lord, and you're not teaching anybody to follow the words of the Lord. You're defiling the flesh, and you despise dominion. Go ahead.
and speak evil of dignities.
And you speak evil of dignities, right? You speak evil of the men who done, went before you, right? Go ahead.
Come, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Michael the archangel.
Let who?
Michael the archangel.
Yet who?
Michael the archangel.
Mayaka Allah, the archangel, the man, the captain of the host of the Most High's army. Yet Michael the archangel, go ahead.
When contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses.
Right? When he in contention with Satan, in a dispute about Moses' body, whether he should go or stay, what the state of his remains should be. Go ahead.
Durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, "The Lord rebuked thee."
Now, how dare you gonna speak against Chief Head Priest Ariel? You're not even his contemporary or in his class. Right. You're younger, you're junior, you're lesser. How you gonna say something against him? Right. And the Bible says, even the captain of the host of the Lord's army did not bring a railing accusation against Satan. He didn't rail and riot and rail against Satan. Right. But he said, let the Lord rebuke you. You say you're wrong, Ak. Let the Lord rebuke you. But you want to fix your mouth to say something. You're dishonorable, son. You despise authority. And that's absolutely fine. You could despise it. There's a place and a position for people like you. And you'll be good father and good example for every class we teach. We're going to use you for example every time. We're going to use you for example every single time. Keep going.
Verse 10. But these speak evil of those things which they know not.
Say it again.
But these speak evil of those things which they know not.
But these speak evil. Slack, Yakim. You're chill without too much. It's getting too loud. Read it again.
Verse 10. But these speak evil of those things which they know not.
But these speak evil of those things which they know not. And that's what happened. You don't know a goddamn thing. You wasn't there, and if you was there, you didn't know anything that was going on, man. Right. You shut your mouth and know that you're there because of him. You're here now because of him and what he did. Get the point? Go ahead.
But what they know naturally as brute beasts, in those things they corrupt themselves.
Right. What they know naturally as brute beasts, in those things they corrupt themselves. As brute beasts, what do you know naturally as brute beasts? What comes naturally to you as a brute beast? Aggression.
What you can put in your mouth and your stomach.
What you could put in your mouth and your stomach. What you're very susceptible to your feelings. What you feel. Because that's what an animal is. Right. An animal is a brute beast. It's just whatever you feel. Right. You get the point? There's no thought. An animal has damn near zero loyalty. Right. Damn near. You get the point? What comes naturally to them as brute beasts, in those things, you corrupt yourself. And that's how you have, fake Israelite groups today. Gathering of Israelites, blah, 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 blah. Right. Israelites united, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, Israelite, blah, blah, blah. Tawada. You just leave it right here for me, all right? Tawada. Brother made some unleavened bread too, all right? Give me my hand. Tawada, put that up. Anybody who may come to class tonight, in every school, wherever you all are at, that's the UPK tradition. You have unleavened bread in the class every night so that people could make sure the feast is kept. Because, of course, in this captivity, again, this captivity is designed to make you what? A brute beast. To make you a brute beast so that you never, ever, could think about walking off the plantation. You could never think about anything else but just what to put in your mouth. And when it's time to put something in your mouth, you ain't stopping to read no ingredients about nothing. Right. Sodium bicarbonate, what? Right. Is it hot? Is it ready? So it's good to have, unleavened bread in the class in every school, all right? Go ahead.
It's like I said, what you said was so heavy in that being in the school showed me just how undisciplined that we are as a people, and just reading in directions. For some reason, it's just so much for our people to do. It's like, what if you gotta do all that, then it's just that's doing too much. Like reading ingredients, it's doing too much. It's like you said.
It's the oppression.
Right.
It's absolute oppression. Is like we under a certain amount of oppression that you cannot, even imagine. It's on so many levels, and by the end of that time, you don't have the mental faculties or the energy or the will to do anything but what is required of you to survive. You get the point? Shupa, do me a favor. You could hit this here from me. You could take it off. You just don't have it in you. Like to follow after what we're doing. One more. To follow this life that we live in, it takes extreme effort. And I say this in this sense. It's relative to the life that you're living now. Right? You come in here, it's an easy life. But relative to the life you live in now, it takes extreme effort to think about everything. You meet a woman, you know how it is. You meet some sister in the world. Y'all talking, y'all texting each other, y'all doing all kind of shit for 2-3 weeks. You see, I feel like I've known you all my life. Me too, babe. Some. And before long, you start having sex with her, right? Who the hell wants to go and take an STD test and do STD screenings? And then come to find out when you go do the screenings, you had to request certain ones because they just don't do the test for that unless you request the shit. And you gotta read up all of this, and she had to check you out. That's not sexy, Yak. That's not sexy at all. That has no sex appeal whatsoever. You get a long list of the trichonema pallidum, susophagus. What is that? You Google the shit, you see all kind of green slime dripping. That shit is not sexy. It's easier to Netflix and chill. It's way easier. It takes effort to live this life we live. You have to live this life we live. You very much living it on purpose. You're living it on purpose. It's down there like, imagine every day of your life you had to consciously inhale and exhale. You see like how when you're stressed or you're working out, you purposely inhale and exhale. Imagine where if you didn't inhale and exhale, you drop dead. Now put that with everything in your life. The way you dress is on purpose. The food you eat is on purpose. The friends you keep is on purpose. The things you say is on purpose. The woman you have sex with is on purpose. We're not carried by the wind. We do things on purpose. And to somebody who is living under the oppression, brother, you introduce them to this life, it's easier to get a blunt. It's easier to just go drink yourself till you wake up in Never Neverland. Where am I? I don't know where the hell I am, but I know where I'm going to find a drink. It's easier to do everything else. But to live this life, you got to be on purpose. We just had the Lord's Passover. How many of y'all, how easy was the trip to go down there? Was it easy? It was this easy. They named the demon the Passover demon. I'm like, you motherfuckers are shit, goddamn. Y'all named this thing. But that's what life is. Life is effort and pushing through and on purpose about everything. Right? You have to be on purpose about every single thing. You get the point? What's up, Bukwan?
No, it was heavy what you were saying, how just thinking about how if you had to think about breathing. When I was in Esau's military, we had to get sprayed with OC spray. And
what is OC spray for people who may not know?
Concept is Oscillarians, something like that. Spray is it's one of the hottest peppers that they extract and make an oil out of it, and basically disable you when you get sprayed on your face.
Like pepper spray? But it's above that now. That's right. Go ahead. Okay, he could use this computer. What he can do is he can just log out of the account there, log into his account on there. And it's set up already with the webcam and everything for him. So he ain't gonna have to sweat that. All right? That will work for you? Okay, it sends a code to your email. So it should be easy. All right. So yeah, go ahead with the OC spray up.
Concept. So when they tell you about it and they tell you, hey, it's going to be, really painful and whatnot. When I got sprayed with it for the first about 15, 20 minutes, I had to tell myself, breathe, inhale, now exhale. And if I didn't tell myself that, I would stop breathing.
You just hyperventilate and die.
Kind. It was that particular part was extremely painful. So if you're saying, if you have to tell yourself just do the very basic of things, and then add on everything else.
Yeah, that life is not for somebody who could get high. That's not for somebody who could go drown themselves in alcohol. This type of life is not for a woman who can't keep her mouth closed, much less her legs closed.
Right.
It's just easier to just do what comes naturally, like what it says in Jude 1:10. It's just easier for that. You get the point? There's nothing at all holding you back from it. Right? Anything else, Bukash? Okay, so bear with me one. Okay, so now we just finished the Lord's Passover, right?
Right.
You have Easter coming up this weekend. A lot of people trying to now conflate the two. Easter is not Passover. Easter is an extremely old celebration honoring the fertility goddess, right? That the oppressors or the heathens would pray to for, good yielding crop, for children, for riches, etc. All right. So somebody give me Easter in the Bible dictionary. Bukwash, you could pull up the image of the goddess for me. Astarte or Ashtar or Ishtar, right? Then give me Easter in the Bible dictionary. All right. Somebody also pull Easter in the Bible. Quickly. All right. What's you got?
I got Acts 12:4 in the scriptures.
I'll take that.
Acts chapter 12, verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
Right? Is there Easter mentioned any other time?
The only one I get, sir, is Acts 12:4. All
right. Easter is mentioned one time in the whole Bible. The word Easter is not anywhere else. Right? What is Easter when you translate that in the Greek? Because the New Testament is written in Greek. Right? What is it?
Pascha. Or Pascha.
Pascua.
Pascua.
Right? Pascua in the Greek. What is Pascua?
So like I said, it says, the Paschal sacrifice, which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt.
The Paschal sacrifice, which was a custom of the people to be
the Paschal sacrifice, which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt.
Right. This here is give me the Bible dictionary on Easter. You have it? Go ahead.
Easter, Passover. Rendered Easter in Acts 12:4.
Right, that's the only place you'll find the word Easter. Right. Acts 12:4. Go ahead.
But correctly translated Passover in ASV.
So then Easter is what?
Passover.
It's incorrectly translated. Right. It's not accurate. It's an incorrect word. It should not be there. Right? In the Bible, I think it's about 5 words that's like that. Easter is one, which is supposed to be Passover. Holy Ghost, supposed to be Holy Spirit. Tell me I don't forget the rest of them. Regeneration is reincarnation. Religion is supposed to be consciousness or your conscience. What's the fifth one? I remember it in a second. It's about 5 words that when you read it, that's not really what it's saying.
Right.
It's a mistranslation, and these things come through some of those councils. But they are, when I say the council, I'm talking about like the councils of Nice, right? The council of Chelsea done. Some of those councils, there's where these words come in.
Right.
But due to the scholarship of some of these, especially some of these oppressors and brothers too, you get to find out the root word, which is good to know the languages they're written in.
Right.
We teach, of course, the Hebrew here every Friday. And our scholars also have delved into the Greek to be able to see what's going on here. Is there any more? Go ahead.
The day on which the church celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday of the full moon following the vernal equinox.
Mm-hmm.
The date of Easter varies between March 22nd and April 25th.
There, whatever, somewhere around the season, right? So now let's get Easter. Easter really comes from what? The goddess Ishtar or Astarte, right? You want to get that in the Bible dictionary too. All right. If we had the big one, I'm sure if we had that big one in that bag, you could see what they have in the compact Bible dictionary. Go ahead,
Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess
go ahead.
Of fertility and sex.
And fertility and what?
And sex.
Yeah, I mean, you're celebrating Easter all year long, from what I could tell. y'all ain't stopping. Easter is every Saturday night and Sunday morning for you. Yeah, I mean, like y'all ain't stopping. Right? Easter in the club, Easter in the music videos, as far as I can tell. Right. Hey, Bukwash, you probably want to put that image of Ishtar up on the screen. ISHTAR. All right. I believe it should be educational. I don't think the social media LGBTQ community are going to flag over some brass breasts. It's a statue with 1 million breasts on it. That's what Ishtar is. Right? Go ahead.
Regeneration was reincarnation.
Reincarnation, right? It's reincarnation, regeneration, reincarnation. Holy Ghost is supposed to be Holy Spirit, right? The whole thing with the ghosts came in because, of course, the pagans would believe the soul of their dead relatives would roam the earth, right? And that's where you get your All Souls Day from, or All Saints Day that the Catholics celebrate and light that candle. All Souls Day is what? What day is All Souls Day? Remember it.
It's Halloween, sir.
November 1st is when they celebrate it, but it's right after Halloween, because Halloween or Samhain's Day originally was the dead roaming through and tearing everything up. And that's why you had to dress like you was dead to mingle in. That was the myth behind it. But of course, if me dressing like the dead means you're going to give me food, then I'm going to dress like the dead and destroy your property unless you give me shit. And that's how Halloween evolved into the trick-or-treating thing. But it all comes from that people believing in when somebody, physical body, when they die, that soul roams the earth and ghosts and hauntings and stuff like that. And that's why they have All Saints or All Souls Day. The tribe of I.S.U.P.K celebrates it, the Day of the Dead, Dia Muerte or something like that, or Muerte Dia, whatever it is. They make cartoons about it. The little kids be watching the whole thing. But all that that's pagan, right? Easter, Passover. What's the other one I said? Religion. Religion is consciousness or your conscience. I think there's another one too. I've totally forget now. All right. What do you have for Ishtar?
It's Ishtar from the compact.
Also, like, hold on. Because I go with the article you have.
Her symbols, like the egg and bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols.
So her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, still are fertility and sex symbols. Right? Ishtar is no different than that pagan custom from Valentine's Day, right? With Lupercilia. It's really along the same thing. Even the wolf, the she-wolf that Remus and Romulus would suckle, a prominent feature in that depiction, that statue they have, is the breast of the wolf. Right? If you could pull it up for the people who may not know. You have Ishtar up there? You might need to pull up the she-wolf. Right? The she-wolf that the two twin boys was underneath the wolf's belly. And a prominent feature, the breast is enlarging, or the teats, because it's an animal, is enlarging. So they emphasizing what it really is. Right? Go ahead.
After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus.
Right? So now you see, this is where they start coming in with marrying the Bible or the truth with the pagan beliefs or customs of the day, because of course, just like politics, you want to enforce this policy, but you don't want the people to revolt against it. So you gotta reach a compromise. You get the point? I like Moses' way. Moses' way was good. Moses' way was, oh, you think you can handle this job? No problem. Be here tomorrow with his golden scepters and stand right there on that spot. No, not there, a little bit to the left. Perfect. And the next day, the Lord caused the earthquake and swallowed everybody who wanted to take Moses' seat. And didn't swallow the scepters, because the scepters were holy things. Didn't swallow those holy things, just the people. Now, there's no compromise in there. And in that day, after that day, in fact, they came and told Moses, we don't want to know the Lord no more. We'll follow you. That's in the Bible. I don't know what the hell you politicians doing, but y'all need to do what Moses did. But you can't do that because, we already handling that job. Right? You should follow before you get swallowed up. Pause. That didn't come out right, but you get the point. All right, you have any more?
Sir. But at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, is all about celebrating fertility and sex.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Right, it's all about fertility and sex. Right, this goddess dates back to the Babylonian Empire. Right, that to the Assyrian Empire, which is long before. You get the point? Long before. Definitely following after fertility, following after sex. Which one have up now?
That's
Remus and Romulus. You see the whole thing with the breast. Now go back to Ishtar, which is a statue of a woman with many breasts, because of course these heathens are very obsessed with the breasts, and the breast means, to them the breasts are good, it's fine, but you don't need 100 of them to enjoy yourself. Yeah, I mean, the Lord give you more than enough of what you need to enjoy yourself. Even a baby can't eat two. You need one, right? You have more than enough, but they have 100 breasts on this woman because it's about fertility, sex. It's a whole sex drive holiday, right? It's a whole sex drive holiday that they lie to your kids about it being about eggs and Easter bunnies and all that type of stuff. As you know, rabbits don't even lay eggs. The whole holiday is a pagan ritual in honor of this goddess Ishtar. Give me Ishtar.
This Ishtar in Compact Bible Dictionary. A Semitic goddess worshipped in Phoenicia, Canaan, Assyria, and Babylonia. Her name is spelled in various ways: Ashtoreth, Astar, Tatar, Ashtarutu, in Armenian letters.
Astarte. You have Astarte. You have Astarte, Ishtar, Ashtar, variations of Ashtar and Astarte. Every hoe have 1,000 names out. And that's really what she is. She's a hoe with 1,000 names showing off her body. And that's what Easter really is. Now, of course, as with the brothers after Christ going through the these other territories, teaching Israel, right? Because that's who Christ sent his disciples to. Matthew 10:5-6. Go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, going through, and of course, after Peter started to gain a whole ton of power, the truth started spreading, and of course the heathens would start trying to take it up. From that, long after Peter and them established and set power, you had now the Catholic Church coming in and really taking over what Peter and them did, which is where that Pope comes from. That Pope, they all say Peter was the first Pope, which is, of course, is a lie. Right. But that's where they damn near hijacked the thing, like Martin Luther King hijacked the civil rights movement. Just think like that. Right. It started off as one thing, but because it was so authentic and had roots solid, you had somebody else who's looking to capitalize off of it and just damn near adopted it and took it over. Right, and you would find with the Catholics, they started marrying the two together, right, to keep the people at peace. You still want to worship Astarte, you still want to do your Valentine's Day and all that, no problem. We'll work that into Catholicism, and we'll make a new way of life, a new thing, Roman Catholic, which means universal Roman. That's what Catholic means, universal. So no matter where you go, you just a Roman. That's really what you are, and you following after Rome's doctrine and Rome's way of life. So now they married the whole thing, and with Easter, of course, eggs is plentiful. Any animal that lays eggs usually lays a lot of them. They represent fertility. They represent wealth. Just think like you have a ton of chickens, you have a ton of eggs. That's wealth. That's very wealthy when there's no giants or shoppers around. When there's no Massey, according to the Trinidad over here. You have Trinidad in the house and Jamaica. Yeah, I mean, we are seen and we are bumbleclad. We have both of them in the house, getting it in. Yeah, I mean, so in the absence again of the things that the oppressor uses to coddle us and weaken us, those things would make somebody very wealthy. And of course, if somebody came and told you had to pray to this god Ishtar, look at how she listens. She's the goddess of eggs and fertility. She makes these chickens give you 12 eggs instead of 7. You're going to pray to her all the way. You're going to pray to the sun to stop being so hot and let the rain come. You're going to pray for the rain to stop. You're going to start worshiping the elements, which is what pagans are. They common people that worship common things. Anything that's strong, they worship it. They worship the bull. They worship the ox. They worship the lion. They worship the wind. They worship the waterfall and the water. Anything that just seems powerful that they think they need, they worship it, which is a heathen. That's different from Adam, who had dominion over the thing. Right. He didn't worship it. He knew that this thing was meant to serve him. So he put a rope around the ox neck or whatever that thing is through the nose and tied it to something to the wine press. And now the strong thing, instead of praying to it, this thing helps him create wine or crush grain. Right. Instead of worshiping the water, he done made the water channels and the waterways to make aqueducts and all of that type of stuff. Right. That's the difference between us and the heathen. They worship the thing when we have dominion over it because our power gave us that. Right. Ishtar is worshiping the fertility. And that's where Easter comes from. Easter is directly translated from, it's a translation of Istar or Ishtar Astarte. It has nothing to do with Passover, right? Passover has nothing to do with fertility. It's, in essence, the opposite. Go ahead.
Sir, while we're on the subject, what does Lent have to do with anything? Or is that even in the Bible?
Lent is not in the Bible, not how the Catholics talk about it, right? Lent is supposed to represent the 40 days and 40 nights Christ fasted in the wilderness, right? When he went to afflict his soul so he could not do what came naturally to him in the time when they came to take him, right? In any brother's time when they come to take him, what comes naturally to the average Black, Hispanic, Native Indian man? But Quash did this. Deuces. Good. You're going to resist it because you know what's about to happen to you when these fools show up. Our king needed to make sure he was less carnal than the average man. That he was less carnal and understood that he was deliberately turning himself in to be beaten and brutalized, and would not now try to save himself, which is, I mean, that's just a ridiculous concept. I don't think anybody could really understand it.
Right.
I honestly think it's beyond comprehension, which is why you should shut your mouth and just follow our king.
Right.
You should just shut him mouth, because there's nothing you do that you are willingly putting yourself in a place where you could just, they just do whatever they want to you, and you not at no point in time try to escape.
Right.
You just sit in there. This is the way. This needs to happen. This is the Lord's will. And it wasn't even his will. He didn't want to do it. How you know that? He said it. He said it in his prayer. Let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, let thy will be done. He followed orders.
Right.
It's just beyond comprehension. So, you don't understand it. You don't need to. What you need to do is just show up for camp and follow orders.
Right.
And that's it. Follow orders. Somebody give you an order, you follow. Camel one can. That's about it. You don't need to understand that part, because that part is beyond you.
Right.
It's beyond me. It's beyond everybody. That's why this world cannot understand our king, because it's like, who the hell would do that?
Right.
Why would you do that? You don't understand it. You have no comprehension of it, which is why you should just follow.
Right.
You should follow. All right. So Lent comes from where they try to incorporate what Christ did in the wilderness as part of their religion. Right? As part of their religion. It's the same pagan compromise thing.
So why don't they get crucified as well?
Good point. Well, no, they do. You could pull up right now. It might be too graphic for the YouTube, but you could pull up images, especially in them so-called Latino countries. Right now, you mightn't find it in Mexico. You're going to find it in Brazil. You're going to find it in Colombia, Argentina, where they're walking through the street with the damn thing and getting whipped and whipped. Now, it's the conservative ones, not conservative, but the ones who ain't all the way, committed to the act, they'll let themselves get hung on the cross by rope. Then there's the ones who they committed. Them niggas have good commitment. Right. They bout it so up. They bout that shit. They letting that nail go into their hand. I'd rather just go read for Command and Journey. I'd rather just go read. He tells me, hold this, put your finger there, hold that. I'm going to come back here and I'm messing anything up. I'd rather go do that shit here. I'd rather just follow Christ's orders. I don't got to go try be him, because I can't. It's I can't be that. And let me say it in context. When I say I can't be him, what you doing is of no consequence, because you are not a man without sin like what Christ is. So whatever you allow them to do to you, you deserve that. That you deserve. Right. Christ didn't. You get the point? So it's totally different. You deserve that and more. And there's people who do it. So it's just part of the pagan part of it, that Lenten season or Lent season. It's them trying to, pay homage to the 40 days that he fasted, not at all understanding what it was about. Right. You understand? All right, where we at with it now? Right. So Easter is a bastard translation of Passover. It's really Pascua in the New Testament. The Greek is Pascua, and it's about, or Pascal, and it's about the Passover that happened in Egypt, right, where the Lord stepped through and unalived every firstborn for the sake of Israel after pleading with Pharaoh numerous times to let Israel go. Right? Initially, the Lord wanted what? 3 days in the wilderness. 3 days, and we still have Egypt today. Pharaoh would have been right there, and that's that. But he denied the Most High 3 days, and now Egypt is a dust bowl,
Right.
with mummies and pyramids and people pissing up and down the pyramids and defecating up and down the pyramids because some, dumb Egyptian didn't want to listen to the God of Israel. You'd have had your country. You just, you came to your humble. He asked you for 3 days. He didn't demand it, and you refused. Now take that up to today. The Lord is weakening America. He's weakening Babylon. He's making sure that Babylon does not carry on, slowly but surely, and is asking to let Israel go again. How? By the voice of the prophets on the streets. Right? He's doing it again. And this time, brother, the next one is going to be, an utter disaster for the oppressors. It's going to be something, phenomenal, supernatural. They're not going to be able to deal with it. You understand?
Okay.
All right. Any more on there? Any questions at all?
No.
Are we good? Okay, so let's see if I have anything else to touch on this Easter. 1 second.
So if I may too, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, that famous painting, The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. A lot of Christians use that in the bastardization of the Last Supper to have communion every fourth Sunday in church, thinking that it's now a commemoration of what Christ did, when they don't understand that Last Supper was the Passover. That's what Christ was having with the disciples.
Exactly. In fact, give me that one in 1 Corinthians 11.
Oh, God.
Give me 1 Corinthians 11 real quick. Then we're going to learn about bricks. What type of bricks you should be building with. You know what I mean? Whether it's the red bricks or whether it's the treated bricks with the iron ore in it. There's a certain amount of bricks there's a certain type of bricks you should be building with. Give me 1 Corinthians 11 and 17. Go ahead.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 17. Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not, that ye come together not for the better, but for the worse.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. For first of all, when ye come together in the church, I hear that there be divisions among you.
Mm-hmm.
And I partly believe.
About it when you booked out? You wasn't able to get in? Go ahead, keep reading now. Come around on this side.
And I partly believe it. Verse 19. But there must be also heresies among you. They that are appointed may be made manifest among you.
Right. So what does it mean in verse 17? I praise you not that when you come together, you don't come for the better, but for the worse.
It's kind of saying like, don't come together to necessarily like party or then come together to get ready to handle business and handle the trials and tribulations.
No, because most of our high holidays is a party.
Right.
Hanukkah is a party for a week.
Right.
Tabernacles is another party for a week, and we will be partying in the United Kingdom.
Right.
Rocking it out. Get your passports ready, get your tickets ready. Right. If you're a strong swimmer, start swimming right now. The English channel is, it's doable. You can handle it, brother. Right. Next thing you're gonna be hearing about the UK tabernacle demon. I'm naming him from now because I know how you all are. Right, you'll never look in the mirror and say, "Nigga, stop making excuses." Exactly. You want to name? You like the white man? He had to make his enemy. He had to make Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. He had to make up his enemy. You just like him. That's the reason you can't go nowhere, because this demon don't want you to do nothing. Right? Not so much that it's not that is they don't want, the Lord don't want us to party. He does. Go ahead.
Verse 20. When ye come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper.
Mm-hmm. But what does it mean when he say he doesn't see if it work now? What does it mean when he say he doesn't you come together not for the better but for the worse?
Coming together, disputing, debating.
You onto it. You absolutely onto it. Right? Keep reading. We're gonna get some more of it.
Verse 21. For in eating everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. Verse 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in?
So when he say you don't come together for the better but for the worse, what are you talking about? Go ahead.
Maybe say like you got your own food and drink at the house. You come in there to eat up all the stuff that's for, like Commander General Yahanna was saying, don't eat the food that's for these people that deserve it.
Okay, and what makes it something that somebody does not deserve?
Because
okay, Slacky, let me rephrase it. What makes someone undeserving of eating the food?
Not being here for the work. You're not righteous. Like you're a sinner.
Yeah, but not that part. Not that part. You're right, but not that part. It said it, read from 18.
Come. Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 18. For first of all, when you come together in the church, I hear that there be divisions among you.
That's where we're getting into. He's saying, first of all, when you come together, y'all ain't together.
Right.
I'm hearing that there's divisions amongst you. Okay, you don't want to use that webcam right there? You could use that table if you ain't using that computer, because you could shut that whole thing down. Use that. Go ahead.
So Shalai, when they should be coming together, this is like a holy day.
You need a plug? Just ask the brother to plug it in for you. He gonna plug it in. Just give him the plug. He gonna plug it up. All right.
So everybody's supposed to be coming together, saying in something brotherly. And the whole time they hate each other.
Yes. And Paul is getting this report. He done locked up, and they reporting back to him what's going on in school. And he's like, there be divisions among you. Keep going.
Oh, God. From 18.
Quickly.
And I partly believe it.
Right, and he's saying, I partly believe it. Why? Anybody know why? Go ahead, Bakwa.
Because Israel's a stiff-necked people.
You sound like you want to say something else there. Sound like you wanted to say nagas. Like to buy a vowel. Not like to solve. Israel is nagas. Go ahead.
Like, because he hearing it all the way from jail.
Okay, it's that, and it's just the experience. It's like a father hearing that his kid's fighting. Right. You ain't sure what happened, but you could damn near know who started shit. You already know because you raised them. You their father. You get the point? And you already know, okay, this report here, I ain't looking at you like, who? Not them. I partly believe it. Right. That's why. You get the point? Go ahead. Not so much Israel as Nagas. It's just, you could know? To what? Both sides Christ said. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 19. But there must be also heresy among you,
Mm-hmm.
that they which are approved,
You sure you need something to drink? Go ahead.
It's like that they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20.
Right. So he's now letting them know, listen, when you come together for this Passover, he's hearing that as they come together, they ain't all together like they should be.
Right.
And he's like, listen, I halfway believe it because I know y'all. He said, but ain't no sweat. I ain't sweating nothing. Heresies must come so that they who are approved might be revealed.
Right.
What does that mean?
So that yes, that the ones and them who
Speak up a little bit.
so that yes,
That's right.
the ones and them who, as you say, causing division,
Mm-hmm.
you'll actually see them. You'll actually see them in the open.
How are you gonna see them?
Because now by not following, as you say, the instructions, let me say that as a father left, now you see now who causing division, who making as you say, or as you say like as a father children, who causing row.
Okay, well, how are you gonna see it though? How does that happen? Because
It's like, is it more so like when the smoke clears, like who's still around, who's still in the school, like
no. Before that, something had to happen.
Sorry, if I could, I would say, like just using the metaphor, like cream rises to the top, the cream of the crop. The best you'll see the best men doing actually following orders by doing the work.
Okay, so you in the neighborhood, but you ain't giving it to me. You ain't giving it to me. You're tapping you're tapping around it, right? You're gonna be able to see what's going on. You're gonna see the best men, the men who following what they're supposed to do, doing it. But there's something that has to happen. Shabbat.
I mean, so there's a difference between them. They have different opinions, and like you said, the ones who are approved, they'll be following what he taught them to do.
Okay.
And the other ones are going to expose themselves by not following the orders.
Okay, that's true. That's not the number one answer. You in Family Feud, you have about number 2 or 3. That ain't the number one. Because for the steal, you're on the steal because.
I would say when it's time to fight, they ain't there. When the battle is at hand.
Okay, y'all skipping past a whole lot, boy. There's something that must happen. And it's so basic. It's
the council.
What do you mean?
Is it that if brothers are taking brothers to counsel or not?
Break it down some more.
Okay, so the whole going to he and thee alone first.
Why would he go to he and thee alone?
Because that's the order.
Break it down.
Given by Christ if you love your brother.
Okay, we'll break it down. So now, based on what he's saying here, there's division.
Right.
So now, what's happening?
Okay, brothers are not. I can't say they're not.
Okay, let me read a little bit ahead. This might help you out. All right, who was reading? All right. 19 and keep going quickly.
Verse 19. For there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. Verse 20. when ye come together, therefore into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's supper. Verse 21. For in eating, everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. Verse 22.
Right. So as they come together, because of the divisions among them, there's what?
Like somebody got the drink, and he not sharing it, and he got the food.
But how does it? Just think UPK. How does that even happen? What should happen?
It's shared to everybody.
It's okay. I give me UPK.
Well, of course, by rank.
Exactly. So now there ain't no rank and order in the thing.
Right.
So it's chaos happening.
Right.
So because there is no rank and order, one eating and one hungry. One drinking so much he done drunk,
Right.
and the other one he ain't get none.
Right.
Right? Just think a father leave the house, and whoever is the bully amongst the children is just, he just take over. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in?
Right. So now, how does it be made? How does the one who's approved be made manifest? Seeing what happened, seeing the chaos that's going on, how is he made manifest?
So like I said, no, what he will do now, you step to that one or the brother and check it.
That's it. Matthew 18 and 15. Right? If that brother offended, go to him and him alone. If he does not hear thee, take him for 2 or 3, so every word would be established.
Right.
That's how you know who's approved, because by the council you will know who's approved. Now, in some cases, the council don't have to happen, because that person done trip off and go wherever and left the truth. You get the point?
Right.
There ain't no need for a council because it's done decided. You see who wasn't approved. You get the point?
Right.
But that thing has to happen. So conflict, it must happen. It must happen. Here's heresies must come.
Right.
So that those who are approved could be seen, could be, and that's the process of it. The process of it is go to him and him alone, and that's it. And from there we go forward. Or this sounds like an incident. And UPK, an incident involves reports, this, that, and they're going to have a council anyway, because this ain't a personal trespass. This is a council that's like the state's picking it up now.
Right.
You get the point? Like that could happen. Some shit could happen, and it's just like it don't matter. the state had to pick this up. Yeah. You report it up. Okay, so who's taking who to council? It don't matter. This had to go to council because the incident that happened. You get the point? Go ahead. Keep reading.
Or despise ye the church of God.
Right. So read 22 again.
Oh God, it's 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of God?
Right. So he's saying what? Have ye not houses to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the church of God? What is he saying there? Go ahead.
You can do that in your own house. You coming in the school in the house of God with all this animosity with your brother. You know what I'm saying? You could have not shared in your own house and stayed home and did that.
Yeah, like you gonna come here to do that? Why didn't you just stay home and do that shit?
Right.
You didn't have to come here and do that. That's old school too. Like you could have stayed. Why didn't you do that in your house? Why you had to come here and spoil this thing? You get the point? Like that's what he's saying. Go ahead. Because you was gonna say something? Okay, go ahead.
And shame them that have not. What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not.
Right. So he's checking them. He said, what should I say to you now?
Right.
Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. I don't praise you. And that's the difference between Passover and Easter. They were acting like Christians in the school. You get the point?
Right.
And really, they should just put on a suit and a tie and some pointy shoes and go paint eggs. That's what you should do. You should not be in here passing wine and unleavened bread and lamb because you're Christian. That's how Christians operate.
Right.
Christians operate like that when it's not Passover, when it's not Easter. Somebody eating too much and somebody ain't eating at all.
Right.
Somebody drinking too much and somebody ain't drinking at all.
Right.
That's how the church is structured. The church is structured like that. And that's where you belong. You get the point? Yes, that's if in a nutshell, for example, that's what you want. As Paul was checking them, based on the report he was getting about how they would come together on these holy days. All right.
Right.
We got on that? Anybody understand that, right? All right, cool. So let's get into building a house with bricks. All right, because it's absolutely something that you should get familiar with. Go ahead.
Sorry, there's a question online.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's from Ario Weeks. He says, at the time Yahushua said to go to the lost sheep of Israel, it was in Jerusalem, 33 AD, and the other tribe, the northern tribe, he listed all of them. The northern tribe was not in Jerusalem. They were in North Central America and the Caribbean Islands. He also said the other sheep were not of this fold. And he says the 9 tribes. What was he talking about? What was that talking about?
Well, what you said earlier was correct and incorrect at the same time. The 9.5 tribes in bulk were in the Western Hemisphere, right? In the Americas, as it says in the Apocrypha, they were in a place called Ashtaroth. Somebody pulled that for me in what's that? 2nd Ezra 13 and something, or 30 and something, real quick, right? And then somebody pulled Matthew 10, 5 and 6 real quick, right? So what you were saying there is correct and incorrect at the same time. Incorrect because of your understanding of it. Your understanding of it from your question, from what you typed in, you think that there was nobody else outside of Jerusalem that our king was talking about, which is false, because Paul says in Romans 11, I am a Roman of no mean city, meaning no average city, meaning Paul, he was a Roman citizen, and he came from a city that wasn't country. He wasn't from somewhere in, I don't want to call nobody cities to offend nobody, but you get my point. You know the point where the GPS, it don't have no road and you just see the dots. Paul wasn't from there. He was from he was from a known place. You'll see I grown over the weekend. I watch my mouth. I try not to say Latin. Right? So that's it. Give me the one of the Apocrypha quick.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse. You want the exact verse?
Yeah. Just where they talk about what is? Hold on. From 39. Salakia, go ahead.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 39. And whereas thou swearest, he gathered other peaceable multitude unto him. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of O.C.
Right, and it's saying 10 tribes. Why? Because in what was left was Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, right? And at the time, remember, Levi was not considered one of the 12. You get the point? So it would Levi was joined to the Lord as the priesthood, right? Levi was joined to the Lord as the priesthood. Now Levi is in all the tribes, right? Levi is like, just think like you have a police station in every city. Levi is the priest, and the priest is in every city that these tribes is at. They're in Judah city, they're in Benjamin city, they're in Ephraim city, because they have to perform the work of the priest. So now when the northern kingdom separated, they took the Levite priests with them. The southern kingdom remained. There was Levites down there. And of course, over time, Dan, of course, got absorbed into the tribe. Dan is in the tribe of Manasseh.
Right.
Levi became 12. So now you have the 9.5 and the 2.5 tribes, that type of situation going on. Right? You was gonna say something? Okay, so now this is what happened. They, of course, were taken into the Assyrian captivity. You could read about that in 2 Kings chapter 17. You could go back and do your history on that. That'll let you know the when the kingdom, went through their split, so to speak. And the Lord punished the northern kingdom by making the Assyrians take us into captivity, selling us into captivity, and remained with Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, Judah and his fellows. Ephraim and his fellows went into the Assyrian captivity, and while there, they took counsel among themselves. Give me verse 41.
Verse 41, book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves.
Give me it a little louder. Read it again.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 41.
Mm-hmm.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country,
mm-hmm.
where never mankind dwell.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 42, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Go ahead.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High then showed signs for them, and he held still the flood till they were passed over.
Right. So Ephraim and his fellows took counsel in captivity. Right. Just imagine you in prison, and you get sentenced with a group, and you all meet on the yard. You all meet for lunch somewhere, and you all, among yourselves is like, listen, we gotta get the hell out of here. We're gonna leave this captivity. We're gonna leave this sentence, but we're gonna go out there and we're gonna be right. We're gonna live right. We're gonna do what we was not doing when we was free. And they left, right? And they said the Lord took them through the narrow passages of the Euphrates River and held still the flood, right? That whole thing about how Esau said they came on the Bering Strait is a lie.
Right.
They came on boats, right? You could trace the Euphrates straight into, what's that open body of the water on the east side of Africa?
The Red Sea, sir.
And what does it go into the open body of water, the open ocean? What's that? The Pacific?
The Indian Ocean.
The Indian Ocean. Go down some more. What's down? All that's Indian Ocean?
Yeah.
Then go west. Go west. What's that there? The Atlantic. They went from the Euphrates to the, what's that? The Arabian Sea into the Indian Ocean, down around the Horn of Africa. No, the Horn is at the top, but the lower part of where South Africa is, and came up to the transatlantic and came to the Americas. That's how Naphtali got here, Issachar got here, Ephraim got here on boats. That's why he said he held the flood, meaning he held the waters. It wasn't rough, right? Keep reading.
Verse 45. For through that country,
Mm-hmm.
there was a great way to go,
Mm-hmm.
namely of a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and the same region is called Asher.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Then dwell they until the latter time, and now when they shall be to come.
Right? That journey took them a year and a half, a year and 6 months to go through. And you could check it out before the Industrial Revolution with steam engines, how long it would take to go down, sail around, and come around.
Right.
It's damn near the same thing. All right. Asareth is an ancient name for America. It's a place where no man dwelt. That's how they got here. So now speed up to the brother's question. When Christ, give me Matthew 10 and 5 and 6, whoever holding it.
This Matthew chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles,
Mm-hmm.
and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Right, stop right there. And any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Why did Christ say, don't enter the city of the Samaritans? Very specific now. You got to remember the history on it.
So, like, because the Samaritans at that time were the heathens that were brought in there by Antiochus.
Salmonessa, I think.
So, yeah, Salmonessa. So he removed the northern tribes and then put in heathens in that land.
Exactly. Right? Samaria, I believe, was the capital of the northern kingdom. After the Syrian Empire took the northern kingdom into captivity, they brought heathens in there.
Right.
And then brought some of the Gadites back to act as priests to teach the heathens our customs. That's where the woman who met Christ as the well came from. Right? She's a Sumerian woman who thought she was following after our custom.
Right.
And Christ had to tell her, ye know not what you worship.
That's right.
For salvation is of the Jews, not you.
Right.
And she said, we worship in this mountain. And he said, no, we worship here. He had to check her because she was the descendants of one of those implants. You get the point? Also, just sidebar, not to be confused with the parable of the Good Samaritan, which those words are not in the Bible, but that's the story you would be familiar with. Right. That Good Samaritan was one of those Gadites who was brought back. Right? The church will let you know that that's anybody. Right. But it's not anybody. It's a brother who was brought back and understood the law of brotherhood. Right. And that's why he was the Good Samaritan. For there to be a Good Samaritan, what other Samaritan must there be? A bad Samaritan. You get the point? Right. The other Samaritan is the heathens. And there was the Good Samaritan, meaning this was a brother. Right. And Christ is saying, don't go into the way of the Samaritans. Don't go to them. That's not our people. Right? That's not our people. If you went purple, they're not our people. Don't go to them. Right. Go, to these, to the lost 12 tribes. Go ahead.
It's like, I'm trying to remember that very story. Wasn't it a priest that came back?
You could go read it up. I can't remember the details like that, but I already said what it is. All right. Go ahead.
Also, to that history, isn't that when the lions were killing the heathens?
The Lord cursed them and brought nature against them. Right. And they understood that they did something evil. Right. And they tried to appease the Lord by having them learn our ways so the Lord would be pleased with them. And the Lord's still not pleased with them. Right? So now that's giving you just a brief history of what the brother's question was. So now, any more on that? Go not anywhere, Samaritans? Keep going.
Verse 6. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? So now, also give me in Luke, when they took Christ to be circumcised on the 8th day. Right? When Joseph and Mary took Christ to the temple to be circumcised on the 8th day. So from the brother's question, he said, well, since the 9.5 or the 10 tribes went into America back after the Syrian captivity, after 2 Kings, who is Christ talking to when he said, I have sheep that are not of this fold, and go unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, if everybody else is elsewhere? Right? Give me where you have it. Give me where Christ went to get circumcised in the temple.
Luke chapter 2, verse 21. And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel.
I think you skip ahead. Where you at?
Verse 21, sir.
Okay, no, give me slack. Yeah, I think it's further down. Give me Luke 2. Start at 33.
Come on. And Joseph and his mother marveled at those things which were spoken of him.
Right. Go ahead.
And Simeon blessed them and said unto Mary, his mother, behold, This child is set for the fall and rising of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. Yea, a sword shall pierce.
That got to be hard to hear, bro.
Right.
This child is set for the fall and rise of many in Israel. I just want to know who fallen, because I know them niggas ain't want this child to grow.
Right.
Who fallen again?
Right.
Oh, I ain't got to worry about him. Oh, he fallen. Nah. We got to clip up over here. Go ahead.
Yea, a sword shall pierce through thy own soul also, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age and had lived with an husband 7 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 84 years.
Right. So now, as they in the temple, this sister, she works in the temple. Right. Her name was Anna. She was from the tribe of Asher, which lets you know what?
That all of the 10 tribes weren't taken away.
Exactly. The Bible is not something that's finite.
Right.
It's not, a finite thing where it's just everybody gone.
Right.
There's remnants. In bulk, yes.
Right.
So there's Israelites still scattered who are not of Judah and his fellows. But she is part of the fellows because she's living in that area, that part in Jerusalem or Bethlehem, wherever they're at.
Right.
She in there. So there was still people from the tribe of Asher still there.
Right.
You get the point? And now scattered all throughout. Give me James 1:1. Somebody else, Jamaica, give me 1 Peter 1:1. All right. Give me James 1:1. Give me Peter 1:1. All this is for the brother's question. All right. And Bukwash pulled the one that he pulled sheep that are not of this fold.
James chapter 1, verse 1. A servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
Scattered abroad. The 12 tribes are scattered abroad, not just in Arsaret, brother, but all over. Right. Go ahead.
Read.
No, give me the other one.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus.
Throughout where?
Pontus.
Go ahead.
Galatia.
That's where you get the book of Galatians from. Go ahead. Cappadocia. Go ahead. Asia. All these is places in Asia Minor and the Greek Isles around Greece. Go ahead.
And
Bithynia. Go ahead.
Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
All right. So now he's saying greetings to all the Israelites scattered in Pontus, Galatia, Philippia, all them places in Asia Minor and the Greek Isles. Right. There's Israelites scattered all over there. Give me the one you have.
This is John chapter 10 and verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
Right. Other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Who is the this fold? For the brother who was asking the question. Who is the this fold?
Is it Southern Kingdom?
Judah and his fellows. The current inhabitants at that time of Israel, which is Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi. That's the fold. That's who Christ came to. You get the point? He came to the leaders of those people, but that's who was there. He said, I have other sheep that ain't from this group. Right? A fold is like a group who are outside. That's in the places we just read. So the bulk is across the Atlantic in the Americas, but there's still Israelites scattered right around there, which is who Paul went. That was Paul's office. Right. Paul's office was to go to those Israelites scattered. So you ask, who did he go to? The other sheep of his that are not of this fold. It's not saying other nations. Right. It's just he has sheep that are not in this group, that are scattered. And he had to go get them and bring them back to this group. The Israelites born in other places, speaking other languages, but by blood, they're Israelites.
Right.
This is not sheep that is spiritual. And now you could go marry some Filipino. You could go and get Pacquiao daughter, or go and get some Chinaman daughter, or go and get some Saudi Arabian, or go get Kim Kardashian. That's not what this is saying. Right. This is talking about Israelites who is scattered all over the earth, but come from the bloodline of Israel. Right. Go ahead. No sweat. Tell them where you are.
10 and 16.
John 10 and 16.
No, okay.
All right. So hope that answered the brother question. All right. That's who he's talking about when he say who he went to. Good. All right. Quickly. So now y'all know recently China just made peace. Xi Jinping went and made peace with Iran and Saudi Arabia, right? You all heard about that? I think that happened 2 weeks ago, around middle of March. This was he did this, I think, just before he went to Russia to visit Putin, right? He made peace with Iran and Saudi Arabia, and Iran and Saudi Arabia have been ridiculous enemies forever. They damn near liken them to the Shiite and the Sunni groups of Muslims at a governmental level. Right. And if you know anything about Islam, that Shiite and Sunni is the blood and the Crips of the Arabs. It's blood and, that's it. Blood and sand, right? One group is supposed to be Muhammad's descendants. The other group is supposed to be his cleric staff or his, the people he had around him that made up his office and their descendants. You get the point? Right. So one is like the descendants of his friends. The other one is his descendants. Right. And they all beef. You get the point? Hold on 1 second. Hello? One of them, you get the point. So they're beefing. But now Xi Jinping, through his ambassador, was able to negotiate a deal that America has been trying to negotiate for a while. Right? You remember when Trump went over there? Mm-hmm. Trump went over there when he was in office and tried to, broker deals with Iran and the Saudis. He tried to do it, and he was trying to, at the same time, boycott China. Remember, he was saying, he want to bring all the manufacturing back home, all the jobs, this, that, the other, because China is making so much money, and y'all don't understand the power y'all giving China. Now, I ain't trying to say go vote for Trump, but I'm trying to tell you that devil knew what the hell he was talking about. You get the point? He understood just what he was talking about. So that deal never was able to happen with Iran and Saudi under the U.S., right? But it was able to happen with Xi Jinping. So now Iran and Saudi Arabia, for want of a better word, are at peace. They're more, they're more cordial with each other. Xi Jinping is visiting Russia, and now they're asking the question: is he going to foster peace between Russia and Ukraine? He's not. He's about to tell Ukraine, if he hasn't already, I don't know, if somebody could check it out. He's about to tell Ukraine, y'all got 2 days. Either you genuflect and bow to Moscow, or there will be no more Ukraine to talk about. Right? He's not about to make, no kind of, compromising peace with Ukraine, because compromising with Ukraine means compromising with America. Right? Because it's a proxy war. It's, nigh onto a Cold War damn near. He's not about to do that. But no, this is the bigger issue that's at stake. For the last 15 to 20 years, China has been moving in the world's economy by providing services, goods and services. Go ahead.
It's like with their money being so cheap, they like underbidding everybody and getting the work.
They were underbidding without underbidding. Because even if China say $50 million to build a pencil, how much is the yen? $5? Right. it doesn't matter. You get the point? Now you could look up, anybody just pull it up for me. When China devalued their money, China had devalued their money a ridiculous low amount a few years ago. And everybody was like, they was making jokes. Remember, like, people would respond to a very expensive price by saying, somebody tell you, okay, $10,000 for that shoe. People would say, is that yen you're talking about? Like making a joke because the yen is so low. Right. So if that money is in yen, I could afford it. Right? Go ahead.
So far this year, the yen.
Not this year. What I'm talking about is years ago. 1994. You was getting to that?
Yeah, I was reading.
Oh, so and I want the whole thing. I want the straight to the point on this one. Right? 1994, they devalued their yen to the lowest of the low. And that was for 1994 was how long ago? 29 years. Yeah, just about 30 years, right? The year of the dragon. The year of the cat and the rat. And we're coming up about the year of the monkey now. Go ahead.
It's like they devalued it by 33%.
In 94? In 94, they devalued by 33%. Now, they had been devaluing it before. By 94, the money was so low that they could have doing business with China was so seductive to businessmen because your bottom line was so small. Right. Your running cost was so small because you're paying in yen, and yen was nothing. You get the point? So now, since 94 till now, because the money was so devalued, and it's how much, 1 billion of them at least over there, they was able to win certain contracts with mass production, right? Whether it's parts, clothing, shoes. Then they moved into infrastructure, highways and buildings and bridges, where they was able to broker deals where not just providing you with the parts, but providing you with the labor as well. And they started targeting impoverished third world countries. Go ahead.
Like in Houston, their whole highway infrastructure was built by China. And when you pay the tolls, you're paying China.
Well, listen, that's what we're coming to now. So since 94, they've been building bank. They've been building up building bank because they're getting investors, right? And at the same time, they're preying on these third world countries, especially in the Caribbean, especially South America, Central America. Been preying on the third world countries, and damn near similar to the IMF, where if they have this contract with you to build whatever, you can't pay, you have to now buy certain things from them. You forced into a financial contract with them. Right. And they've been doing this all the way up. Now there's something called the BRICS Alliance, right? Somebody look up the BRICS Alliance, right? Bukwash, look for a picture of the BRICS Alliance and put it up on the screen, right? There's something called the BRICS Alliance. It's BRICS. It's called the BRICS Alliance, or the BRICS Organization. One of the two.
I got it, sir.
Read.
BRICS is an acronym for 5 leading emerging economies.
Right.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Right.
Those are the 5 leading emerging world economies. Right. Now you see why there's a push for this Africa shit. Right. It's not the last 5-10 years. It's a whole back to Africa, Mama Land, Akon with the damn lights, and where the solar panels that Akon giving Africa come from. Anybody know?
China.
Yeah. Yeah, because he went to somebody first. Either America or Russia. He went to somebody first and they didn't want to do it. Right. And the Chinese had panels just for recycling. Yeah. And they gave him it all. And he broke a deal with them, and now you see what's going on. Not to mention all the infrastructure deals they have going on down there. India as well. When they call it scam likely, when he say, hello, my name is Michael. No, your name is Pradeep. That's your name. You Punjabi Pradeep. You try, hello, my name is Paul. I'm here to offer you something today. Scam likely. That's them, right? Then Brazil. Who's this? Russia. Hold on one second. option chapter. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? And these are the emerging economies, meaning these economies are starting to gain power. Now, as the economy is gaining power, when was BRICS founded? Did I tell you? You have it? Shapat? So you raise your hand.
South Africa was added in 2010, maybe 2000. I'm still reading.
No sweat. South Africa was added in 2010. Let's just take it from there. From 2010, right? South Africa is the last one to be added, right? From 2010 till now, what has happened to European economies? Spiraling down. You had Brexit. Right. You had the destabilization of the European Union, which was, of course, tied in with Brexit. Right. France was, France down there been on fire since 2017. The Greek economy just fell. All Greek pantheon just fell. And of course, the BRICS economy is rising. Now, somebody Google, you keep that article you have, unless you could do the two. Somebody pull up the BRICS alliance worth in 2017. 17 or 18? Because you should be able to find a graph with that, where it's like a bar graph showing you the worth of each economy and who was the leading economy. No?
Okay, it says, as of 2018.
Go ahead.
It says the equivalent to $4.46 trillion in US dollars.
Was what, the whole BRICS?
Come on, sir.
Okay, that's good. 4.4 trillion US dollars. They're saying the BRICS economy was worth. Okay, let me see if I could find the specific article for you. All right. There's a specific one that gives a bar graph of the BRICS alliance, each country's worth in the global economy for that 1 year, and it lets you know how much have they contributed to the world economy. Hold on.
I have something here that also says at the BRICS leaders meeting in St. Petersburg in September 2013, China committed $41 billion towards the pool. Brazil,
how much?
$41 billion.
This is in US dollars.
Brazil, India, and Russia, $18 billion each, and South Africa, $5 billion. China, holder of the world's largest foreign exchange reserves, and
hold on. I didn't know that part. So these niggas stockpiling foreign currency. I'm explaining that in a second. Go ahead.
And contributes the bulk of the currency pool, wants a more significant managing role, said one BRICS official. China also wants to be the location of the reserve. Brazil and India want the initial capital to be shared equally. We know that China wants more, said a Brazilian official. However, we are still negotiating. There are no tensions arising yet.
Yeah. There's no negotiating. China has it. Right. Okay, because type in BRICS economy size in 2017. Right, then go to images.
It's like
BRICS economy size 2017. Right, and then go to images. It's like the second image. It's a bar graph of the 2016 GDP of BRICS members. You see it? It's a horizontal bar graph. You see it? All right. Like, I'm gonna send you the link, and I'm gonna need you to read this article from here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shapat.
Like I have something here from Forbes where it says at the 2014 BRICS Summit in Fortaleza, Brazil. And I skipped down a little bit. It said collectively, BRICS account for nearly $16 trillion in GDP and 40% of the world's population.
All right. This shit is check, not chess, not checkers. Because I gotta send you the article. Go ahead.
It's like it,
You see the graph, right? So you pull it up on the screen. All right. So this is the 2016 GDP of BRICS members, right?
Right.
What is Brazil's GDP?
1.8 trillion.
Right. And this together counts for just about 22% of the world GDP, right?
Right.
This is in 2016. What's Russia's?
1.28 trillion.
Okay. What's India?
2.26 trillion.
What's China?
11.20 trillion.
$11.2 trillion for that 1 year in GDP, which is gross domestic product, meaning what the stuff they make, the products they make that they sell.
Right.
So in 2016, the world consumed $11.2 trillion of Chinese goods. In 2020, we consumed coronavirus, which was made in China. Go ahead.
I was reading the article back in 2016, and I didn't realize that had anything to do with BRICS. But in 2016, BRICS, Brazil overtook UK for the 5th largest economy in the world.
I mean, it's a struggle act. It's the turning of things upside down.
Right.
You know what I mean, Kazak? You have him?
Yep.
Okay, so let me tell you where. Give me from the second paragraph.
In recent years, the BRICS countries have taken an ever-increasing share of global economic growth, according to estimates by the International Monetary Fund,
which is the IMF. Right. Go ahead.
The contribution of the BRIC countries to global economic growth was about 60% in 2016.
In 2016, global economic growth, the BRICS alliance accounted for more than half.
Right.
Now that's a lot, brother. That's a lot. Yeah. We're talking about Brazil.
Right.
And okay, Brazil can't just be Brazil alone because there's them countries tied in with Brazil, right? But we're talking about Brazil. No America, no Canada, no Central America, no the other Southern America, no France, Britain, no North Africa with all that oil, no United Arab Emirates, no Dubai, none of that shit, just BRICS. And you could tell who is the workhorse here, the Republic of China. All right, 60% of the world's GDP. Go ahead.
The IMF also estimates that in 2017, emerging economies and developing countries will contribute more than 3/4 of global economic growth.
According to the IMF, by 2017, they projected that third world countries that come under this BRICS alliance will contribute for more than 75% of the world's growth. Economic growth, which means they control money. You understand? They control a lot of money, a lot of the economy, world's economy. Go ahead.
And in the next few years, the contribution of these economies will still account for about 70% of global economic growth.
Right. So now you see the type of power they have, and you see who running things in there. China's been running things. Because their currency is so low, they're able to get contracts from everybody, anybody, take anybody's money. And because they're so, they have a homogeneous society. It's one of the largest, I think the highest percentage of homogeneity in any nation is China, Japan, those type of countries you're not going to see other nationalities in there. Less than 1%. They're strong with their traditions. Which means they could suffer together more. They could now, put certain things in place and everybody down with it. So they're able to stockpile foreign currency. That's important. Why? Come on.
I'm about to say, not to mention they got over 1 billion people over there.
All right, then. They got manpower, and that money is from the outside. We ain't talking about the money from the inside. Go ahead.
They got a bunch of manpower and no woman power.
Well, they could buy women out. They could go and just buy. They could buy vagina, brothers. So listen, they make any vagina. They're making the box right now. Go ahead.
What basically what you're saying, they can suffer together. They rather, grow inside instead of bringing.
They're about the nation, but they're about world dominance as well. Yep. So now let me speed you along, right? I'm watching the time. So now you know who's running that. That's China. Right. They have the largest reserve of foreign currency reserve. That's important. Why? Because oil is traded in something called the petrodollar. Right? What's the petrodollar? Who knows it? Go ahead.
You can only buy oil with the American dollar.
You could only buy oil with U.S. currency. You cannot buy oil in Chinese money. You can't buy oil in pounds or euros. You could only buy oil in U.S. dollars, right? That was decided, I think, in 69 or 74, somewhere there, right, where America made an alliance with the big boys in OPEC, right, and they agreed that oil will be sold only in U.S. currency, which essentially turned the U.S. dollar into a commodity. Right. So the U.S. dollar is now like oil or cotton or, rum, like something on the stock exchange. The U.S. dollar is now, it's not something tied to the amount of gold in your Federal Reserve, right, but this is now like a natural resource. Right. So now if you want more, we just print more. And that's how the US dollar is now. The US dollar is a commodity that could be printed, and it's not tied really to any kind of economy, right? It's different than the other money. And because the oil can only be purchased in US dollars, America's economy can withstand a lot of world disasters, because oil is used for everything, for your cars, for gas, to oil, to lubricate this, for certain types of plastics. You have downstream industries from oil, petroleum, Vaseline. I mean, forget about it. To fight a war, you need jet planes and C4. Was it big ones? The C4, C-130. Them big ass C-130s. Them shit ain't running on water. Is you need oil, and so now because of that, the American dollar is always buoyed afloat when it should sink. And countries like Russia, Libya and China have been trying for the longest to broker a deal to buy oil in other currencies, which is where you get your Bitcoin from. Your Bitcoin was initially them trying to now have people start buying and selling worldwide in other currencies. And now they were going to try to segue into that. That did not work out. Bitcoin started being, when I say Bitcoin, of course, I know that's a brand, but all them type of crypto money, right, and that type of fake money, right? The monopoly money, right? It's, it did not work out. So now China has the largest foreign currency reserve. Right. China is leading in the BRICS, right? In the BRICS GDP. Right, they're leading in the BRICS GDP. Damn near has control of it. In addition to that, Russia is an oil-producing country. Venezuela is largely oil-producing. I believe Brazil has oil as well, right? And the beginning of March, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, which is ridiculous. Now, Saudi Arabia joined the BRICS alliance, and they just made peace with Iran. What do you think they drinking sake and eating and wanton soup and fortune cookies over? Right. You think they're talking about making Jordans? Or you think they're talking about let's not buy oil in US dollars anymore? Right. We, the BRICS, we run the world economy now. If the BRICS pull out right now from everybody, the world's economy would fall. Right. That's what they're really saying. The world's, in 2017, it accounted for 2016, it accounted for 60% of the world's economy. Right. The pundits predict that in the next year, it would be 75% of the world's economy. And in the years after, they predicted it would account for 70% of the global economy. 5 countries, now 6. And by alliance, 7 with Iran. And China controls them all. Ni hao. Ni hao. How they say, Buddha be praised. Buddha be praised. Go ahead.
Sir, and, since this week, they have signed China back in Malaysia to remove IMF, replace the IMF in that region with a bank.
I believe it's in the same article. I believe it's in the same article. Now, because they have the economy to back any debt that these third world countries have, China is moving on third world countries that owe the World Bank and owe the IMF to liberate. Everybody, you better go buy a ghee, you know. Go buy a ghee, go learn how to make some sake and eat rice, because that's what's coming. Come on.
I would say we need to go buy some bikes, because once that oil gets changed over, our gas prices will be.
Listen, I'm just saying, hurting on the oil and the wine. My car gonna be running fine. That bitch gonna be running fine. Go ahead.
Even all when I read it with the dollar itself and all in pain, currency and all, the change of the whole thing now. Now everybody, as I say, playing your phone, so I can't. So now they're trying to, let me say, scrap that dollar.
They're trying to get that thing electronic now.
So they want the dollar electronic through all this. So they're telling you now, hey, how going on? We're doing this now because we're afraid to get robbed. Because I might walk with that briefcase and money, you know.
Well, that's where it heading to, but pretty soon their money gonna be worthless like Venezuela. Remember, Venezuela people had thousands of dollars in the streets because the money was worthless. Now that's where America is heading. Now you ask yourself, is Trump getting locked up important? This China man here, bro, he's showing up in your country with a briefcase and he leaving smiling at. He's leaving smiling. And listen, this is probably a 30, 40, 50-year plan that these Moabites done hatched and stuck to it. Now, you can't leave the Christian church.
Right.
You can't stop being Muslim. You can't put the blunt down. You can't put the damn weed down. You can't stop being a horrible alcoholic. You can't stop being a whore. You can't stop being a lesbian. You can't stop having abortions. When these people who you always make fun of, always make fun of. Right. You go in the damn Chinese store, let me get six wings and fried rice. And make fun of them like the Chinese movie. How much? $5.99? Okay. You making fun of them. Hatched a plan for world domination act. Serious world domination. Now, all Commander Yahanna is telling you, come follow our King Yahushua, celebrate the Passover, stop getting high. Stop being a goddamn drug addict and an alcoholic. Right. Stop murdering your babies, unaliving your babies. Leave out the Christian church. Leave America behind, and that's too hard for you. Go buy a ghee. Go shave your head. Put 6 dots in it because you are going into the Shaolin Temple. Right. Buddha be praised. Go get them big beads. All you brothers who like Street Fighter, you're going to learn karate. You're going to learn it because they done set for that thing. Any more in the article?
Let's go on to more like just little stats.
It's more stats on it. Yeah, but you see how powerful that BRICS alliance was. Right. Now you go do some reading up on the BRICS alliance. All the European countries tried to dismantle that thing. And they just couldn't. It was, and for a time they looked at it like it was less, like it was a lesser than, like an underdog type thing. And trying to prop that thing up by devaluing its dollar. And prop that thing all the way up until that thing got strong. And now, brother, it's, if they decide to really trade in another currency act, the only way to stop it, the only way America is not going to, because trading in another currency makes the US dollar useless. It's really, it's no more valuable than this piece of paper. Because there's nothing holding the US dollar up. You don't produce oil. You don't have any world commodities. What do you hold that now you could vouch with? Right. So now the only way to stop that is to go to war. is to go. You're not using my money no more. Say that one more time, gang. Say that. I didn't hear you. Say that one more time, gang.
Right.
I didn't hear you. The good old troops would be landing in your countries, bricks.
Yep.
And that's why China, what is it? China, it's China or Taiwan? China recently, 800,000 soldiers. Or is 800,000? What was the article we read recently on that radio show? I think it's 800, not 800,000. Let's go with 800,000 for now. I don't want to say 8 million. 800,000 young soldiers between, I think, 19 and 23 enlisted into the military looking for combat. Go ahead, Ambada.
Yeah. Wasn't it in last week that we had all of EU countries flooded into China for some negotiation?
I believe they had some summit. Some summit. I can't recall which one it was, but I believe something like that did happen. Now everybody trying to, stave off the inevitable.
Right.
But brother, this place is going into the Third World War. And where will you be? What would you do? The shelves are going to be empty, and the police are not going to come. TikTok is not going to work. Instagram is not going to work. A lot of people are going to be unemployed. A lot of your fans ain't going to be your only fans. They're going to be fans of whoever have food.
Right.
What you going to do? Go ahead, Bukwaj.
Salakia, but the last time China was involved in a real major war, they just sent waves and waves of young men to just stop the bullets.
Well, brother, so you could find the article. Is a ton of them young men recently enlisted, right alongside what Xi Jinping was doing. They getting ready and gearing up for war. You should see the picture. Them guns look like something you draw. The weapons they got look like something you draw. You have it?
It's like I got North Korea sent 800,000.
North Korea, 800,000, which I believe them is Moab anyway. I believe North Korea, South Korea is Moab. Or North Korea is Moab. I think South Korea is Ammon. One of the two, something like that. We had to read up that Korean conflict to find out exactly who. But brother, this place is descending into war. I'd be a dummy to give a damn about Trump and being arrested over some whore. Some whore who he had sex with, who he paid. He paid to have sex with her and paid her to shut her mouth. And she talked. Bitches doing that for free. Why should I care about Trump, brother? You should be preparing for this place to go to war, because you could wake up tomorrow and the US dollar could be devalued and you will see real chaos and mayhem in these streets. But guess who's going to be ready? The Israelite School of UPK under Commanding General Yahanna. We stay ready. You should have seen us at that Passover. We stay all the way ready. Ain't no problem, no problem. What demon, who, what, where. The Passover went on and was glorious. The scriptures say, hurt not the oil and the wine. You're going to see it, before your eyes. This world is coming to an end, brother. Prophecy is being revealed. China is going to back Russia. Russia is going to go all the way back to that USSR. They're going to start gobbling up all them countries, Croatia and Czech Republic and Chechnya and all of them. Then they're going to start to move south into them Northern African countries. It's going to be a whole wrap. And your oppressor, he has no choice but to be a natural brute beast, which is to go to war. Your boys are going to be enlisted into war, oppressor.
That's right.
Good luck. Godspeed. That's a lot. Same bad time, same bad chat. And with that, we pass the class over to the precept officer, Shapataya.
I.S.U.P.K security announcement. We the I.S.U.P.K on the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street. Out of Commander General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They ought to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves in the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew is pronounced Ma'aishua. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, either the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whichever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We are still in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. 15th day of the first month for 7 days. That was Sunday, April 2nd.
You could kill this.
Sunday, April 9th. 2023.
I didn't do it yet.
Count of 50 days.
Yeah, you could kill it. You could kill it. The TikTok.
You can find us in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 17 through 20. In the book
See, you
of
could reach it right
Leviticus,
there.
chapter 23, verse 8 through 10. Verse 6 through 8. SHALAM. SHALAM, did you want to add anything, sir?
Nah, that's it. I think we close any feast on Sunday.
Come,
All right, we close any feast on Sunday, and that's it.
Come.
Yo, watch and pray, man. This thing coming to an end.
All right.
Trying to tell you.
Come. Remind Akim and Akwati to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a bro wants to be a troop in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black hairband or scarf. And with that, I say I invite you, which means to stand.
Salute, all right?
This is salute, sir. Come. Which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Ma'am Shabbat, Emmanuel, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yad Yom Matah, class dismissed.